Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm just sitting here thinking it's the end of the week. It's hard to believe that this week has just flown by. We appreciate your viewership. We want to always give credit to our viewers and our sponsors. We wouldn't be here without y'all. High today is going to be 88 and low 79. Of course, it's brought to us by our good friends at Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, taking care of everyday comfort needs. Our water temperature is interesting. It's at 83.6, brought to us by Allco Electric out of Lynn Haven. It's gone down a degree since yesterday. It's going to be interesting to see if it go down another degree or two. It's going to be up and down, but it stayed around 85 for a little while. River reading is brought to us by good folks at Panama City Coca-Cola. Take a look at Apalachicola, Bluntstown, just steady. It's going down a little bit. It's reading this morning right at even 6 foot. And it chalked at you at Caryville, 2.8, and it's steady. So tomorrow, the river fishing should be really good. I'm going to look forward to seeing some good pictures coming in from different viewers throughout on the big river over on the Choctawhatchee system, Black Creek and all that area. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Another good day of tides. How about the high tide this morning at 10:36, low tide tonight at 9:28, and it's just been a great week of tides, a great morning fishing. I was thinking about Captain Roy this week. He would have had some folks out fishing every day this week with the tides like it is. And he'd be wrapping up about this time, about 10:30 or 11. The wind direction is going to be coming out of the west southwest at about 10 to 15 today. Also tomorrow, west southwest. And I was thinking about this yesterday also. You know, we've been having some really nice breezes in late afternoon, and the effect of it, and I don't know around your place, but I just haven't had very many mosquitoes or sand gnats and all. You know, late in the afternoon, usually everything's bad, but that breeze has really done a good job keeping those mosquitoes and sand gnats away from us. So maybe it'll continue. It looks like it will this weekend anyway. All right, take a break. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. If you're like me, you always enjoy learning new things, and I learned something this week about state record fish in Florida. If it breaks the record, it's got to go over by 0.02. And we had a classic case. Right here in the Panhandle, here in Jackson County, we had a state record fish that was tied for the state record caught last year. Here's the story. This is interesting. New flyer. This is a brim, but we'll talk about it later. But the guy Michael Baxter caught right there, right in the middle of the screen, 1.36 pound flyer in Jackson County in June of this year. So it goes on. It ties the record by Twyla Gates, actually in 2015. That was 10 years ago. And hers was right over here, 1.35 pounds. Okay. So look how close it is. So it goes on to a quote by Chris Paxton, who used to come on the show, and I can't get him to come on anymore. He's a biologist, and a great job he does. And his quote, "I feel fortunate as a biologist to not only serve by the existing record, but also Mr. Baxter's tying record." So anyway, the last sentence, state records for freshwater fish in this size range must exceed the existing record by at least 0.02 ounces to qualify for a new record. So you see, and there's a flyer, there's a fish right there. And I got another picture of it right here. The way you can identify it, I've read about it, but right there, see the eyeball? It's got like a teardrop on it. That's the most distinguishing characteristic from what the biologists tell us and all right there. And it's not a big fish, it's a different kind of fish. No telling how many people caught them, and bigger ones probably fried them up that night. But here was the Ochese boat ramp. That's a pretty place there, Ochese. That's special right there. But anyway, it just talks about the different ways that you identify it, and you catch them on worms and crickets, or bread balls. Also, catch them on a fly. All right, interesting stuff. One of my former students, Tommy Taylor, and this, we can identify with this a lot. Don't know who needed this more, me or him. We had a blast. Caught way more trees and bushes than fish, but I couldn't care less. And he took his little boy out, look at there. And that's the thing about it. Just get out there this weekend and get on the water, and it don't matter if you catch a lot of fish or nothing. And just, is he happy? Thumbs up. All right, good deal right there. Hunter Ray over here in Choctaw, this is good, but I didn't realize they've been doing it this long. He's talking about his hound, the name of it, he calls him Fat Boy, and they go on the 3-day hunts and they do the trials, but it was the 61st annual Blackwater field trial. I had no idea they did it this many years. Look at there, that old dog's been around, and Blackwater Fox Hunters Association. It was established in what year? 1964. They've been doing it a while, and I know they enjoy it. Okay, I always love the stories behind the fish, and Jennifer Wilson Kappelman. This is Howell Montgomery. He's fishing with Bill Kappelman, and they fish up there off the Chipola over in Calhoun County. Now Howell, I've mentioned before, Howell played at Bluntstown. He was a quarterback at Bluntstown High School. The Montgomery boys, they were really good athletes, and all of them went to college and played ball. And Howell met Bill Kappelman, who was a quarterback at FSU. And they both became good friends and went separate ways, and over the years they got back together, and they loved fishing. And Bill learned how to fly fish from Howell. And you see that yellow fly, and Howell fishes all the time. I run into him a good bit now, or on occasion, different things, but I just, they really get a lot of fishing done this time of year. They're going to come on the show pretty soon, they say. They'll tell some FSU stories. Okay, let's end this segment with this. Steve Taylor, I ran into him the other day, and we were talking about this. You know, he just shot some good photos, and this, you know, that's what I'm talking about. I often hear wild pigs in the marsh. Alligators grow big here. And I caught the tide backwards, which means he didn't catch much. So, but it was pretty, as his granddad said. And here's the pictures, and that's the thing about it. That's the old bridge there. But we've talked about this before. One of the favorite things he was telling me the other day was to see these wild palm trees just out there, not, you know, all nature right there. It's the lower end of the Apalachicola River. And there are a bunch of them there, just beautiful scenery, and just go on a boat ride, different places in there. Is that not beautiful? And here it is on the lower end there, and it opens up into the marsh areas. Just, wow, what a beautiful area of the Apalachicola Bay system. We just really, really good stuff there. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I've got some more things to show you as far as pictures. You know, as outdoor people talk about it, we all try to take care of the outdoors, and we go out of the way sometimes just sort of help things out, which is we should. But at times you sort of got to be logical about it. And I'm talking about a lot of times we see a turtle crossing the road, and I do, and I know some of y'all just pull upside the road and get a turtle and put them across the road. I do that especially over there, that little side road that I get out on 77, but. We don't need to do it on Highway 77 in different places where traffic is bad. It's just not worth the risk. But usually they don't cross a big area. But I saw this yesterday. I just wanted to share sad news right here, really. This man killed on Interstate 95 attempting to rescue a turtle. And then they identified him, Frank Quinn at the bottom. Folks, he was 87 years old. But anyway, he just pulled off the side of the road. But on I-95 is probably one of the worst. I-95 and I-65 going to Birmingham, to me, the two worst roads in the country. So anyway, just be careful doing those kind of things and use good judgment. Again, this is something bad here. This is over in the East Bay. This is just right here, and this is why we can't have good people just throwing trash out. And I just kind of understand it. It seems to be more and more people doing this. I don't know. they're not from around here. Most native Panhandle people are not bad about littering. I mean, they may do some at the end of the road, old beer cans and all, but they're not. It's not near as bad as it used to be. But anyway, just product reliability. This 80-year-old solar clothes dryer still works. You don't see many of these anymore. When I was Gail and I were going up to Mississippi to visit with the kids when they lived up there, I saw some of them up in the eastern part of Mississippi, a good many. That's interesting. Another one of these stories, we talk about this, and this just happened. This was the Pecoris, I know them, and basically you see what happened, and you pulled it all the way through, and he cut that barb off. And fortunately, he said he had enough. He had some really good cutters, and that's what you got to have on a boat about being prepared. And you got to cut that barb off, and then you pull it back through. And that's the only way you can get it out. And what did they do? They just kept on fishing. And, all right, I got to show you this. This is what I had for supper last night. I just wanted to show. I don't normally show you, but what I want to show you, of course, you know the fresh tomatoes, but the peas and the corn. All right, I had a good friend of mine called me up and said his corn was in, and he got a few peas left. So Gail and I yesterday morning just went up to the place, and I love doing this kind of stuff. It got a little warm, and we just picked the corn, and Gail picked some peas. I did most of the corn. She was picking the peas. It just brought back some fond memories of us doing that as kids with our families and all. But I want to show you, it was just good, fresh food. It was not processed or anything. It came straight from the garden yesterday morning to our plate last night. I wish we laughed about it. We wish we could do something like that every meal, just have some good, fresh vegetables. But man, this is summertime eating. The only thing in the better would have a fried brim next to it or some mullet with it. Okay, okay, I'm going to go on to this one. I've talked about, Whitney, my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter Whitney, y'all know her, and she came down with type 1 diabetes when she was 14, and it was really devastating as far as it was, just really hard to deal with. But they're making so much progress on type 1 diabetes, and I ran across this, and I thought this was good. It don't have anything to do with outdoors, but we're talking about doing good things. Barbie is coming out with a doll for type 1 diabetes and trying to make it more common to wear the monitor. See the little monitor there? Whitney has that now. And at first they were really reluctant. The kids were reluctant to wear it and all, but now it's more common. And I saw news last night where like 1 million people are getting diabetes a year. It's crazy. Okay. Now, let's go back to another state record. This is interesting. This is a 40-year-old state record. It was broken. It was here, and what was so cool about it, Joe Durden from Bluntstown, he caught a spotted bass, and of all places, it was remember we talked about, I promoted the Liberty County Bulldog Booster Club. They have a bass tournament at a Bristol Landing, and lo and behold, he certified the catch. It was 3.9 pounds. It was 18 inches, and that was a state record. Let me see if we got a picture. Here's a picture of it right here. Is that not cool? A Florida state record. So we're talking about 2 state records within a month, breaking right here in the Panhandle, Bristol and Jackson County. Good job there. That is cool. And here's a picture of it. Right there, you see, you got to officially measure it and get it on the plate and all that. That's good stuff there. And I want to talk about this here in the fishing report. Matt Smith, what's he saying? There's lots of bait fish in the bay right now, and the Spanish mackerel are making the most of it. A lot of times people aren't fishing with Spanish mackerel this time of year, but man, it is a lot of fun, especially when you have some young people on board the boat like that. Okay. We're talking about iguanas. They're all over the place, and the family they're at a resort, and the iguana fell out of the tree and jumped out of the tree and started eating their pizza. You talking about? Look at there. He got a big old pizza in his mouth. Now that's hilarious, but that's how bad they are. They don't know if it fell out of a tree or jumped out of a tree when it saw the pizza. Okay, William Jones thanks Winston Chester. The mullet plate was off the chain. This is at Gene's Oyster Bar. William, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I want you to thank Ronnie Fowler at Gene's Oyster Bar. But don't that look good? We may go there today. Okay, we appreciate them doing that. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to look back one day and say I went fishing too much. And that's we're gonna. I got to show one more because Billy Grantham sent this. Lane Kaiser, my grandson, getting in on the fun. Billy sent this other day, and there he is. You know he had fun catching that. Chewy's Guide Service. Look at there. Chewy. I love the name of the guide service there. So anyway, that's catching us up for the week, and a lot of good information there. A lot of good fish being caught, and some good stuff. All right, let's get ready for our drawer. First thing I'm going to do is give away that mullet plate at Gene's Oyster Bar. That did look good, didn't it? All right. And the winner this week is going to be all the way from Panama City Beach, Debbie Harris. Okay? And the winner of the $20 gift certificate at Tarpon Dock, I want to thank Greg Abrams and Abrams family for their support. From Port St. Joe, Rob Haney. Okay, Rob. Abrams is old Port St. Joe boy, so that was a good tie-in right there. And the winner of the Big Red Snapper is going to be, all right, from Lake Jackson and Florida, Alabama, and Panhandle Bayou in Southport, Melissa Deal. Okay, Melissa, you get the Big Red Snapper, and wherever you are, you can come get it from there. Okay, we're going to take a break. Come back with our famous Friday fishing forecast. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to our famous Friday fishing forecast brought to us by Jessica Lean Insurance and Financial. We're glad to have them as a sponsor. First thing I want to go to is let's talk about the Spanish mackerel. I just showed a picture with Captain Matt Smith, and he's out there every day, and he's done his whole life out. So I love getting his reports, and I know Matt real well. One of my all-time favorite students. I'm so glad he ended up doing what he loved to do, being a fishing captain. But the Spanish mackerel, we don't realize this time of year they're still around. We think about that spring run and that fall run, and we concentrate on it, and then we sort of forget about it and target it. So it speaks highly of Matt to target those Spanish when they're out here. And I have this here. This is, you've seen this before. I got tickled here in the studio yesterday when Chris Kramer came in. I had it over there in the corner. He pointed at Will and said, "You see that mackerel tree, don't you?" That's the first thing they saw in the studio. All the fish and everything I had, they didn't pay attention, but they saw this mackerel tree. And what it is, I've held it up before, and this is just one of my favorite rigs here. And hook, and you see the different colors. It used to be the straw rig, but this is how you just troll with this, and it's a lot of fun. And this is one of my favorite rods. This was custom wrapped for me by one of my former students, and I'll always appreciate it. Joy Hendricks, and they live in over there in South Africa now. So I'd like to see how the fishing is over there. So let's move on. Where would you go to catch a Spanish? We're talking about really and truly right here in the center of the screen. We're talking about you put it in anywhere, but if you get this area right here, this is where any trolling. See the Spanish are going to come in. And they're going to sort of hang out in here, a lot of good areas to eat. So come in at a marina down here, but right there in the center of the screen, trolling out in there. And then back, you go up toward the Hathaway Bridge and back. And that's some of the premier places. So we're going to the other place I want to mention, and actually this was brought up by, here we go right in here. This was brought up when we had Chris Bowley on. And we're looking at, he was talking about the importance of, all right, let me get it back over here. Right here at Channel Bridge. See the Channel Bridge there? They were checking, when they were checking, they were, can't get it off, right here on Channel Bridge. Anyway, the redfish right through here. See the redfish right there? And he was talking about a lot of redfish being caught in that area. Also right down, talking about trout fishing, there's a lot of reports on catching speckled trout in Chattahoochee Bay, and locally, and also in Apalachicola Bay. And so many, if you've done a lot of trout fishing, you catch these, what are called dinks, D-I-N-K-S, dinks. And you get so many of them that size. And I was following some people and talking about it, and one of the captains said his ratio, and this has made a lot of sense to me, you'll catch 6 dinks for every keeper trout that's big enough to keep. And I was thinking about all the times I've been, and that's about right. Especially this time of year in the summertime, when you're catching a bunch of them, you're gonna catch a lot of dinks. And what's amazing, you throw them back and say, man, I can't wait till next year, because all these I'm throwing back, they're gonna grow up. And next year comes, it's the same thing. Next summer comes, you're still catching these dinks, and well, next year they're gonna grow up. But 1 to 6 ratio, that's pretty good. On surf fishing, the biggest thing on surf fishing has been slow, and it's the June grass. I looked over there on Choctaw, over in that area off Choctawhatchee Bay, coming down toward Destin. There's grass over there. Still grass here in Panama City in this area. Surf fishing is cleared up some, but it's still more grass here this time of year than normally is. Freshwater. What can I say? 2 state records caught this past month here in the Panhandle. The fishing in freshwater is really, really hot. Bass fishing really strong. The summer nights, a little tournament going on with the outdoor kids. I'm going to have some video on that coming up. Also, I wrote down, let's see, well, I'm about to run out of time. Freshwater fishing in these ponds, if you can get out there early and fish these ponds and lakes early while the water's still cool, excellent bass fishing. And topwater is so much fun in the summertime catching bass. And Mike Edwards and those folks that go all the time, they can tell you about those kind of things. So I've got to wrap it up for the week. We've had a great week. I've enjoyed the guests we've had, and appreciate the feedback y'all are sending me and sharing the pictures with us. So y'all make sure you have a great weekend, good weekend to get outdoors, do any kind of outdoor stuff, and do something good for someone else today. Enjoy the great outdoors, and let's take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.